What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Country Bunkers Trains. Hope you're doing good. It's been a while since we've done a layout video or a scenery video. If you guys can't tell, I've been pretty busy the past couple of weeks doing some scenery work on the layout. I figured it was about time we go ahead and do an update. For our new viewers, as well as to refresh some of our longtime subscribers, several months ago we started rebuilding and revamping this layout. I'll try and include some links to the videos on this layout rebuild in the description below. This layout originally started out with a very simple 8-foot by 8-foot footprint. It has been built on and expanded on several times throughout the last 4 years that it has been up. The widest radius curve that used to be on this layout was 042. And all the expansion throughout the last couple of years has been to accommodate the wider radius curves to be able to run the more modern, scale-sized, articulated steam engines, as well as the monster diesels of the modern era. In the layout's current configuration, she has a 13-foot deep by 9-foot wide footprint. Again, this is to accommodate the wider radius curves needed for the big scale-sized pieces of equipment. The outer loop is a loop of 082, the middle loop is a loop of 072, and the inner loop is 054 with some 072 mixed in here and there. The upper deck is 054 loop. Again, I've gone over this in great detail in past videos. However, just to reiterate it, because I get asked quite a bit about the size of the layout as well as the track that is used on the layout. I highly recommend checking out those past videos to get an idea. Although the layout has been redone several times throughout the last few years, I do not plan on redoing it as I stated in the previous layout videos. I've been taking my time doing the scenery work this go around, because like I say, I don't plan on doing it again, and I'm not in a huge rush. I really haven't been in the spirit, to be honest with you, but we're making some headway, and I think it's looking pretty good. Obviously, we still got a little bit of work to do, but we'll get there. It's not a race. You might notice some of most of the buildings actually are not lit up. All the holes for the wiring is drilled, and obviously buildings are placed, but I still got to run the wiring underneath. I tried using some old scrap wiring that I had, but some of it must have been bad because it wasn't working. But like I say, we're making some slow progress. We're getting there. In our last scenery video, we left off with the rail yard. We had our 2 siding spurs installed, had a couple buildings placed to get an idea. However, as you can see, we finally got it finalized. Everything's installed. We've actually got power ran to these accessories, and we got all the ground cover installed. For the ground cover, I've been using this stuff I'm getting from the local Michael's craft store. Yeah, I could go outside and sift through the dirt and whatnot in the backyard, but I'll spend the $3 or $4 for these jars. I think it's worth it. I think the stuff looks pretty good. Along with that, of course, we're using Woodland Scenics grasses and products and stuff like that, as well as their scenic cement to hold everything down. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I wanted to install a fence around the new rail yard and came across this awesome chain link fence offered by Woodland Scenics. A really cool product. Really easy to install too, just had to drill a couple small holes for the posts of the fence and then I superglued them into the layout. For buildings in the rail yard, we have an MTH water tower, a post-war Lionel dispatching station, an MTH service platform, American Materials Tower, as well as burnt engine shed offered by Menards, a Lionel freight yard, and of course, as you can see, a bunch of Woodland Scenics figures and workers, some Lionel floodlights and whatnot. Honestly, though, the cherry on top is these beautiful Woodland Scenics telephone poles. I love the way these things look. They look awesome. Along with our 2 live sidings here in the rail yard, I've also gone ahead and installed a dead or dummy spur off of one of the sidings. I have a reason for this dead spur off to the side, which I'll go over in an upcoming video. I call this a dead siding because it's purely for looks. It does not have any power running to it. But to make it look a little bit more authentic, obviously we've got it ballasted. And as you can see, we got a couple track workers up here either connecting the spur or working on the rails. I enjoyed those Woodland Scenics telephone poles so much that I actually started doing some rework over on this side of the layout. Originally, I had these MTH telephone poles installed. However, those Woodland Scenics poles really blew these things out of the water. So like I say, I went ahead and ripped these out and installed the Woodland Scenics ones over here as well. These things look great. Not very hard to install either. Same thing as the fence. Just drill a couple holes into the layout where you want to put them, and then I just super glued them in place. The wiring's fairly easy. It comes pre-wired, and you just got to follow the instructions. But like I say, pretty easy and pretty simple to do. Takes about an hour to 2 hours to do. The first time I did it took a little bit longer, but once you get the hang of it, these ones went in fairly quickly over here. With the rail yard out of the way, it was now time to start focusing on the little town or city in the background. These are a mix of MTH and Woodland Scenics buildings. I did have to get a little creative and remove some of the side detailing on these buildings to get them to butt up side to side, but I think it was worthwhile. One thing I'm not real big on with the MTH buildings, they come with these pre-installed sidewalks or steps on the bottoms of the buildings. However, these look quite bulky for these O-scale buildings. For the sidewalks, a big shout out to Chris's Trains and Things. He gave me the inspiration to make the sidewalks that I did. These sidewalks are made out of this press board or press wood. He did a video on this a little while ago making some sidewalks, and I followed his video to the T, and I'm quite happy with it. Unfortunately, as you can see, the sidewalks are all the way back there, but it's the same as the sidewalks here for the rail station. Again, this is just cut to size, and then you use a utility knife or X-Acto knife, whatever, and you paint them with, I use some Rust-Oleum beige, a camo color here, but then you cut the grooves for the cement into the wood and then go over it with a black wash to give it a weathered look. And as you can see, go over them and you can cut cracks and whatnot into the cement. I'm pretty happy with it. He did a great video on making these sidewalks. I'd highly suggest checking it out. Of course, along with this city, we've got a bunch of Woodland Scenics figures and people roaming around, as well as some other accessories, trash cans, dumpsters, mailbox, and all that kind of good stuff. One of my favorite spots on the city is over here. We've got a little ice cream store on the corner, and we've got a table and chairs and some umbrellas set up with people enjoying the day. I really like how that turned out. I think it's pretty cool with the phone booth in front. And then, of course, we've got our courtyard here in the middle. I do wish I would have gone a little bit more detail-oriented here. I got some fall trees from Woodland Scenics. I thought they looked pretty good here. Might have gone a little crazy with the leaves on the ground, but hey, what the hell. But yeah, I wish I would have put some more people in there. But again, this is in the middle of the layout, and you really can't see it from up here in the front. I've got the camera zoomed in pretty close on it. And then, of course, going after that, we have our roads or our streets being installed. This always seems to be a popular topic here in the O-scale community. I figured I'd give you guys a quick demonstration on how I build mine. Now, I don't take credit for these streets, as I'm fairly certain I saw someone else doing this on one of the forums many years ago. But I will say this is a super basic and super cheap way to make some streets. No, they're not ultra realistic, however, I do think they pull the look off quite well. But like I say, this is really, really cheap. To start off, we begin with some just basic poster board. I like to get black poster board, however, the last time I went to the store, all they had is white. But anyway, we get some poster board. Then we pick up some of this Rust-Oleum textured paint. This is like a satin black. And then I just go outside and paint one side of the sheet. Like I say, with the black sheet, it doesn't take a lot of paint for coverage. However, with this white sheet, it took quite a bit. But yeah, just paint one side. You'd think that this poster board would warp and get all wrinkled from the paint, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. You can see it stays flat and in its original form. Once it's painted and dried, this Rust-Oleum dries fairly quick. You can usually work with it within half an hour to an hour. But once it does dry, you can cut it to size for whatever you need. And this is what you end up with. My streets happen to be 5 1/8 inches wide. But once they're cut, I just take a straight edge, and then I pick up a couple paint markers, obviously yellow and white, and then just draw in our lines. Like I say, super easy, super simple, super cheap. I've gone about attaching these to the table using the carpet tacks in the past. This go around, I'm just gluing them down. But yeah, like I say, I'm pretty happy with how these come out. No, they're not super ultra realistic or anything like that, but like I say, I think it pulls the look off quite well. That textured paint, I don't know if the camera's showing it really well or not, but this stuff really looks like a good street. Now, you could spend quite a bit more time on these and make these look a hell of a lot better. It just depends on how far into it you want to go. If you wanted to take the time, you could draw out, double yellow lines here, make it look a little bit more realistic. I didn't want to spend that much time on them, so I've just got passing zones everywhere here on the layout. What can I say? The people here drive like animals. They even got passing zones there in the city. But hey, I ain't got to drive with them, right? But no, in all seriousness, like I say, you can make these look as good as you want. I don't go all out. All my turns are exactly 90-degree turns and stuff like that. But hey, it's all a matter of how much and how far you want to go. Now, obviously, I'm not a big stickler for being ultra realistic and stuff like that. However, personally, I am a little bit picky when it comes to building placement and streets and stuff. It does have to make sense, or at least make sense to me. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the old toy-like layouts where there's just a strange building set next to the track with no rhyme or reason or a street going up to it. Like I say, it has to make sense. The streets have to have somewhere to go, and the buildings have to have somewhere to be placed. Am I picky in that regard? Yeah, a little bit. Like I say, it needs to make sense to me. That's the one thing I've never been a big fan of with the old traditional styled layout, just having a strange building placed next to the track with nothing explaining why that building's there, if that makes any sense to you. But anyway, I digress. As I was saying, we got the streets installed. As I was mentioning earlier, I'm gluing them to the table this go around rather than using the carpet tacks. Also got these MTH street signals installed back here. One thing I do fight on this layout, as I've mentioned in the past, I have some carpet insulation under the grass mat, and it makes putting trees and stuff like this kind of hard, being able to glue them just to the grass mat up top. Stuff wants to lean over, as you can see, and what can you do? It is what it is. Being a Mopar guy, I try to keep nothing but old Chrysler products here on the layout. Of course, a couple Fords, unfortunately, have found their way onto the layout. These were freebies from Menards, and I also had a Ford from being a kid. But the remaining vehicles, they're all Mopars, they're all Chryslers. Can't go wrong there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how these streets are coming out. One thing I really like, and as I was mentioning in a previous video, we're hiding this nasty seam here in the middle, in the front of the table with these streets. And like I say, that's doing a good job of hiding that seam. Working our way forward, we've got a couple more buildings placed. This is actually my favorite scene on the layout. If you guys don't know, I am a huge Blues Brothers fan, and this scene is my little nod or salute to the movie. This building back here is actually one of the scenes, or represents one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and is actually what this channel is named after. Unfortunately, they do not make a Bob's Country Bunker in O scale, so we're going to have to settle for Bob's Country Store. I guess we're going to have to make a Bob's Country Bunker in O scale at some point in the future. As well as up here, we got the gas station. As we know, towards the end of the movie, they ran out of the gas on their way to the gig. Well, here they are. They just filled up, and they're pulling out now. Maybe we'll have to add a smoke unit and some LEDs and whatnot to simulate the gas station exploding as they're pulling out. But yeah, along with those, we've also got Christine making her debut here. And we've got the monster Tom Turkey here hanging out behind the store. Heather and Sabrina saw the turkey at one of the stores years ago, and we had to add it. I'd be scared as hell to see that thing in real life, huh? Next door, we have the Vetter Sash and Door Company. I'm really happy with how this scene turned out. I think it came out really good. But yeah, I had some of the chain link fence left over from the rail yard, so I decided to use it over here. And then I used the same ground cover techniques as the rail yard. This is that gravel and sand from the Michael's Craft Store, glued down to the grass mat. And then used some Woodland Scenics grass around the area. We've got the Vetter Sash and Door Company truck. That was a freebie with an order of track. And then, of course, some workers added in as well. I'd like to add some more stuff. I still got some stuff that I want to put up in this area while I still have access to it from the front here. We've also got the Dirty Ho Garden Center placed here. I did want to remove the sidewalk or the base off of this building. However, that base holds the windows and whatnot into the building, so it had to stay. It doesn't look too bad there, though. It's not next to the other buildings. And then, of course, behind that, the elephant in the room, if you will. I wanted to get a big tree for the layout, and man, did we get a biggin'. These beauties came from Grand Central Gems. A little pricey, but I'm very happy with them. These things are stunning. I like the Woodland Scenics trees, but these things blow them out of the water in every way. The trunks on these trees are extremely detailed, and they look great. They do come attached to a base with a screw. I just unscrewed it from the base and glued them to the table. And yeah, these things are awesome. Quite monstrous. We might be entering more G-scale territory with the big tree at 2 feet tall, but I don't care. This thing looks awesome. The smaller trees are between 10 to 11 inches. I might pick up a few more of the 10 to 11 inch tall trees to place on this patch that we have in front of the Vetter Sash and Door Company. I'm a big fan of trees on the layout. They really help bring a lot of height, obviously, character, and depth to the layout. Makes things a little bit more interesting. This also helps hide the trains in some scenes of the layout, which I'm always looking to do, because that's something I'm always fighting with a smaller layout, looking to make it look a little bit more interesting and hide the fact that they're just going in a circle, if you know what I mean. And that leaves us with the front of the layout, and I'm pretty excited to get going on this. I do have a lot of big plans for the front here, as obviously this is going to be the first thing and the main part that you're going to be seeing, so I want to get a little bit more detail-oriented with the front here. Like I say, I got a lot of big plans for it. I do have one maybe you guys could help me out on. I'm hoping or looking to install an MTH 2-track Pensy signal bridge here, and I'm wondering what the width is, how wide a track span that it can span, if you know what I mean. I've got about 10.5 inches from outside to outside here on these outer 2 loops, and I'm curious if that Pensy signal bridge would be able to span that. Do any of you guys have that? Could you take a measurement by chance? Let me know. But yeah, aside from that, another fun thing I'm really looking forward to working on the front, I no longer have to work on my knees like I have been in the middle. I can do it from standing on the edge. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be a little bit more comfortable. You know, whenever I go to do these videos, the layout or the trains just have to fight back in some way. It's like the layout knew I wanted to shoot a video on it and brag on it a little bit. The light bulb in the beacon tower in the back corner just had to go ahead and burn out 5 minutes before shooting this video. It's always something. Luckily, I left a little bit of space between the layout and the back wall. I should be able to reach up from under the layout and change it out. But like I say, it's always something. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the layout is coming out. Tell me what you guys think. No, it's not super ultra realistic. It's kind of a mix between a high rail layout and a toy train layout. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's coming out pretty good. Like I say, let me know your thoughts below. I've got quite a bit of plans, like I say, for the front of the layout, and I'm pretty excited to get going on them. But I do got to pick up some stuff. Hopefully it won't be several months before the next scenery update video comes out. But anyways, guys, like I say, I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Until next time, guys, my name is Zach, and this is Country Bunkers Trains. Y'all take care. I'll see you the next go-around.